everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Heather and I'm here with another monthly reading wrap-up for the month of July. If my background looks unfamiliar, that's because I'm currently at a hotel. My husband is taking the bar exam, so I came and hung out at the hotel with him, and that's why I'm filming it, because today is the last day of July. I don't have a lot of the books physically with me because we're at a hotel right now, and a lot of these I actually listen to, not a lot, but a few of these I actually listen to on audiobook. So I'm just gonna scoot to the side a little bit. We'll just come this way and I'll put the covers up here for those that I don't have. But we're just gonna wrap up what I read in July, and then I'll probably give you a quick overview of some of the books I'm hoping to read in August. I haven't super made a TBR yet, so we'll kind of be working through that one together. But the first book that I finished in July was Happenstance Found, which is book 1 in the Books of Umber series. This is a middle grade fantasy, yeah, I think it's just fantasy, trilogy by P.W. Catanese, something like that. I don't actually know how to say his name. Basically, this book starts out, you have this boy, he wakes up in a tunnel in this cave. It's kind of hard to explain. He's blindfolded. This guy kind of gives him a brief introduction, disappears, and then some other people come and find him, one of which is a man named Umber, who is this explorer, inventor guy that has been sent to find him. And then it just kind of goes from there. He's being chased by this creature, and you follow it along. I gave this one 3.5 stars. It's definitely a world building beginning of a series book. So it's definitely still action-packed and a lot is still happening, but you don't get a lot of answers. It's just like building your questions so that then the rest of the series can go and help answer them. So for that, it makes it a little less satisfying to read the book because you're just gathering questions, you're not gathering answers. So that's how I feel about that one. I definitely want to continue. These were ones that I read when I was in probably either elementary school or middle school, and I remembered liking them. I totally forgot about them until we were looking at something. I'm trying to think what we were even looking at. I was trying to find another book, I think, and my husband was reading through things that he thought it might be based off of Google, and he said the name of that book, and I was like, wait, I have read that. It triggered some kind of deep down memory, and so I found that it was on Audible Plus catalog, so I listened to this one. Book 2 is not on there, but then book 3 is, so I don't know. I've ordered the whole trilogy from thrift books because they're ones that I would definitely loan out to like my brother, or if I have kids, stuff like that. I think they're really good middle grade books, and they are fun even as an adult, but that might be slightly boosted by my nostalgia about them. So I did find that I did not remember nearly as much as I thought I did about these books. So we'll see if as I get into the other two, if some of the scenes that I thought were in this book actually are. And then after that, I listened to The Watchers by A.M. Shine. I had been getting ads for this movie all over, and I don't really do horror stuff. Freaky movies are not my thing. And so I was like, this movie looks scary, but then I found out that it was a book, and so I was like, I could probably handle it in book form because the premise was super interesting to me. Basically, there are these woods in Ireland that nothing electronic can live in it, and there are these creatures called the Watchers, and so you're following a girl who ends up through a series of circumstances getting stuck in these woods with the Watchers, and you have to be inside of the house, you have to stay in the light, or else the Watchers come and get you. And this is very, I think it would fit into horror. I will say I feel like it was less suspenseful. It was more of like a slow build type of a horror, not like a super fast you're into everything type of a book. I did give this one 4 stars, and the more I think about it, I finished this pretty early in the month, and the longer I've thought about it, the more I think I like it. So I might even potentially bump that up a little bit. One thing that it's definitely bringing it down, there is definitely a lot of swearing, specifically the F word in this book, because they are Irish, and the Irish use that word a lot apparently. So I don't know, I have mixed feelings on swearing in books. The weird thing about it is I feel like there was a lot the first few chapters, and then she ends up in the forest and it really tapers off after that. They also don't use very many other swear words other than that, so I don't know. Take take that as you will. If you don't like reading strong language in books, this is definitely not the one for you. This is one of those things where I feel like it would be really much more scary in movie form. So I don't know, I don't plan on watching the movie. Again, I don't like scary movies, but there's just lots of like jump scare type stuff, which just does not have the same impact when you're reading a book as it does on TV. So yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like it was super freaky. Even listening to it as an audiobook, I don't feel like it was so freaky as it would be watching the movie, but it did have this nice suspense that just kind of built up as you went through. There's a couple fun plot twists. I really liked the narrator. I thought the audiobook was super well done. I'm finding that I really enjoy British and Irish accents in audiobook narrators. So I don't like a lot of narrators with an American accent, which is odd, but I've found that I do really enjoy that. And I think that I could get into horror, but in very specific scenarios. One, this one had no like weird content in it. Like it wasn't even overly violent. So that made this one stand out a lot. Two, I really liked that it was rooted in folklore. And so it had almost like a fantasy element to it, it felt like. It was very magical, mystical, and I think that that could be a key for me. I don't think I would love horror books that were too close to real life, but I think something more supernatural or fantastical like this, I think I could get really into. So if you have other suggestions of clean horror books that have like fairy stuff involved or folklore or things like that, let me know, because I'm having a hard time finding anything else that seems similar to the vibes of this book. The author does have another book that I need to listen to, and the next one, like there's a sequel to Watchers that comes out in October, I believe, and I will definitely be getting my hands on that one because I want to know where they're going with it. The ending definitely left me wanting more. So that's The Watchers. Kind of out of left field for me. Definitely would be a good one for the fall, for like Halloween time. But if you have any recommendations of books with similar vibes that are clean, please leave them down below, because I have been hunting for something ever since I finished this book. It almost left me with a bit of a book hangover because I just loved the vibes of it. So that's The Watchers. And then this one was a very exciting one for me. I finally finished War and Peace. If you don't know, I've been working through this book for months now, and I finally finished. I did a full annotation of it, and I have a reading vlog just dedicated to that that is already up on my channel. So if you would like to watch it, you can find that there if you want more detailed thoughts. War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. It's a Russian classic. I don't know how to say too much more about it. Basically, you're following several families within Russia during the Napoleonic Wars, and you just kind of go along with how that affects them and how their lives go. I gave it a 4 stars. It's not the most riveting read, that's for sure. I do really enjoy Leo Tolstoy's writing, and I need to read some of his other books, especially some of the shorter ones. But I really like War and Peace. It's just a bit of a slog to get through. Again, if you want my more in-depth thoughts, those are all in a video that's already up. And then I started into a trilogy that is also going to be a reading vlog that is not out yet, but it will be coming soon. And that is Children of Blood and Bone, the Legacy of Orisha series trilogy. The 3rd book came out at the end of June, and I just barely got around to reading it. This was my most anticipated read. I'm not gonna go too in depth again because first of all, the first 2 books were reread for me, and then I have that video coming out, so more in-depth thoughts to come. But Children of Blood and Bone, I gave a 4.5. Children of Virtue and Vengeance, I gave 5 stars. Again, loved it. Those 2 were great on a reread. And Children of Anguish and Anarchy, I gave 3.5. This one was a bit of a disappointment for me. Again, all of my full thoughts are coming in a vlog soon, so I'm not gonna dwell too much on this to avoid being too repetitive, but you will see my thoughts coming soon. That one was a bit of a disappointment for me, and based off of Google, it was a disappointment for a lot of people. I'm gonna go a little out of order here, but I listened to, on our way driving to Boise, which is where I am right now, me and my husband listened to Agent 355 by Marie Benedict. Marie? Sure. And this is a book It's a historical fiction. Basically, in the Revolutionary War in America, there was this ring of spies. What was it called? The Culper Ring, is that right? Yeah, the Culper Ring. And there were a bunch of spies, and within all of the documents that we have, there is somebody who's regularly referred to as Agent 355, who is a female, and nobody knows for sure who she was. And so there's been lots of speculations by historians about who it was and who could have fit the bill. And so it's a novella. It's only like just over 2 hours to listen to on Audible, but basically this is the author's take on who she thinks could be a fictionalized version of the Agent 355. So it's not based off of it's based off of a real person, but it's not necessarily a real person that we have historical records of. But she took basically a lot of the facts that we do know for sure surrounding people involved in the Culper Ring and Agent 355, what we have references of, and she took all of this to create a fictional character and a story that she thinks fits with the facts of Agent 355. If that makes sense. There's an author's note at the end of the book that tells it a lot better, but that's basically the premise of the book. I thought this was really well done. I gave it 4 stars, which is quite high for being such a short book. Like, how many pages does Goodreads say it is? 84 pages. So super, super short. I thought she was able to create very realistic, well-rounded characters in such a short amount of time. I thought that she was able to draw a lot of emotions out. This isn't the happiest ending of a book, and I was amazed at how sad I felt about the ending after just 2 hours. So I think that that is a testament to how well written this book is and how good of an author she is, that I was able to feel that connected to the characters in such a short amount of time. Just don't go into this, obviously it's a novella. Don't go into it expecting a huge crazy plot. It's kind of snippets, you get some jumps in time in order to kind of follow through the whole story. But I thought this was really well done. If you're looking for a short book or you're interested in the Revolutionary War and things like that, definitely check it out. If any of you have like a full book on the Culper Ring that you would recommend, I would love to know. Leave the recommendation down below, because I do think that that's a super interesting topic that not a lot of people talk about. And I will definitely be looking into other books by this author, because she basically, her quest is to find these stories of females, of amazing women that have been kind of lost to history. And so she brings them out and writes historical fiction. So I will definitely be checking out some of her other books, because a lot of them sound really interesting. And then the last 3 books that I read this month are all for an upcoming video, so I'm not gonna dwell too much on them, and I'm not gonna tell you what the video is because it's kind of spoils it just a little bit, but I'm gonna speed run through these next 3 books. First one was Murder Your Employer by Rupert Holmes. I gave a 3.5. Then the next one I actually have, and that is Silver in the Wood by Emily Tesh, and I gave this one 3 stars. And then the last one I actually just barely finished right before I filmed this video, but that is His Majesty's Dragon by Naomi Novik, and it is 4.25 stars. So again, thorough thoughts on those will be coming in an upcoming video. I don't want to spoil too much of what's in that video, but there's my star ratings because you already have that information on Goodreads. All right, that's everything that I read in July. So let's talk really quickly about some of the things I'm hoping to read in August. First one is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. That's the other book that I brought with me to Boise. So I do want to read that, and I also want to read it before I watch the show, which I believe is coming out soon if it's not already out. But I do want to read the book first, so I need to get on that. So that's my first one. I'm in the middle of listening to an audiobook right now called City of Stairs by Robert Jackson Bennett. So I'll definitely finish that one sometime this month, and then we'll see it's a trilogy, I believe. And the other 2 books are also on Audible Plus catalog, so if I like it, I might try and get through the other ones. I'm not sure. I would also like to finish some of the other books, or the other 2 books in the Books of Umber series, which I talked about. That was the first book that I listened to in July. So I would like to get through those. I've ordered those books off of Thrift Books, so those should be coming soon. I also want to try and get a video done for my Around the World in Books challenge. My next region that I'm going to do is East Africa. So I've got some books on their way to me. I won't go through, I guess I can say quickly. No, I won't go through and look up the names of exactly what I ordered, but that one will be coming out hopefully by the end of the month of August. We'll see, depending on how fast I can read those, but I would like to get through those. And then we'll just kind of see. I have a few other books that I need to get to at some point. I need to finish Skyward. I'm like halfway through that, but it's been a while, so I think I remember enough to not have to start over, but I need to get to that soon if I'm going to not have to start over. So maybe that one's on the docket, but I'm not putting that one on officially because I'm not sure, but I'm gonna stick with that for now. I think that that's a pretty good number of books on my TBR. One of the books for my Eastern Africa video is kind of long, so I don't want to overload myself with too many things that I'm expecting myself to read. That being said, that's the end of this video, so thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any recommendations for me or your thoughts on any of these books if you've read them, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.